I do. I do.
I
I
just
want a
change
bum
it,
bum.
playing with the big girls instead of boys. I'm like, I don't play with big
Change the
boys.
songs. Change the lyrics. Oh, y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know.
Yeah, no, no big
Marie
boys.
is such a selfish so and so. Oh, y'all didn't even know. Hold up, though. Let's do this first. Let's do this.
Ooh, we already.
You selfish so and so.
You got a bumba. That's the only way to
You
wake
got a
up.
bum bum.
And I'm bumba with the big girls.
Yes.
That's what we're gonna
Marie
do.
got me over here dancing, doing all kind of crazy stuff behind the scenes, y'all. Just
First thing in the morning. Be like, what are they
in the
talking about?
morning. Good
What are they
morning,
doing?
goddesses. Good morning.
Good morning. Let me see who's in the comments.
Welcome to Me Moments in the Morning, y'all.
Good morning, morning. Do you know I thought today was Friday?
Good morning.
Ooh.
Yeah, it throws me off. The Thursday, Friday thing. I don't know how. Probably because we start on Tuesday. Maybe if we didn't start on Tuesday, I wouldn't get so thrown off. But yeah, it throws me off sometimes.
I think it's the week. And so I'm one day in advance. And we're always planning things ahead anyway. So I'm like, is it Friday?
Yes.
So I'm asking people questions now. And I'm like, oh, what was I asking about this? It's not even the day. So I'm like, okay.
It's not the day.
Okay.
This is not the day, boo-boo.
Keep this to yourself. Keep this to yourself. Okay.
Woo.
So we have a good topic. A good, hey, Belinda. Belinda is here. Good
Hey,
morning.
Belinda. How you feeling, goddess? How you feeling?
Good morning. Good morning.
So if you've been on the SLAYGROUND for any length of time, you've probably heard me pleading for women to stop being so selfless and be selfish, even if it's just for a little while. It's time to be a little selfish.
Just a snitch.
A little bit.
Ooh, she's feeling good.
Take a step on over to this side.
Belinda's feeling
What you
good.
say, Marie?
She's feeling good.
Right.
That's good, Belinda.
Gonna be... Yes.
I may play that song for you later. I'll play that song.
The boom boom. Please do. Please do. Bring it to the SLAYGROUND. Bring it to the club. That's a good club song.
The club. I'll play it at the club for you, Belinda. There's a song.
Boom, boom. Look, I'm changing the words. I don't even know. I'm just,
you want a boom boom. That's what it is now.
I want a boom boom. I want a boom boom. Yes.
That sounds like a Jill Scott song. That's a whole Jill Scott song, I think.
Right? Right? Yes. All right. Oh, you can bring that song to the SLAYGROUND too. Okay. So here we are. We are heading on over to the Slay Bible. Slay, self-love awaits you.
Slay.
This one. We're going to about page 41-ish, somewhere in there. And like I said, if you've been on the SLAYGROUND or in this community at all, you already know. You already know how I feel about the whole selfish thing. But I'm going to read this little excerpt for you. And then let's get into a little bit of conversation, okay?
All right.
Okay. Take some time to reevaluate what selfish and selfless mean to you and what they've meant to you, what they've meant to your life thus far. As you do, take heed of my definition of selfishness. Add it to your repertoire of self-love knowledge, and hopefully it'll come in handy during your reevaluation process. Yes, as you are on this self-love journey, you have to do some reevaluation, right? Selfishness is a commitment to self-love by caring for the mind, body, and spirit of oneself before all others, thereby allowing oneself a greater capacity to love, nurture, and care for others. Thus, selfishness instills one's sanity and ability to continue to nurture effectively. Okay? Selfless or selfless people are usually nurturers by nature and give of themselves quite freely. They do. And they often end up being taken advantage of because of their giving heart. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All right now.
yeah. So I'm telling you, I got to ask y'all to cease and desist. If you
Mm.
go a little further, if you go a little further on page 42, there is a warning. There is a warning down on.
Caution. It's like warning,
So I
warning,
got to read
warning,
the warning
warning.
to you. Continue unopposed selfless behavior at your own risk because
Okay.
it's killing you and ain't killing nobody else.
Mm.
Although selflessness is not complete BS, its overuse and abuse has damaged your gift of giving.
Mm-hmm.
Your pre programming may cause you to refute this information, but it is up to you to counteract it.
Oh.
So you can continue if you like, but it's killing you. It's killing you. Selflessness, at some point I refer to it as like your kryptonite. You know,
Ooh.
Superman get kryptonite and then he can't do nothing.
Can't
You're like,
do anything.
right?
Can't do anything.
No, yeah. So you got
But
to
I'm
balance
sure you're
something out
encouraged to keep
somewhere.
pushing, though, right? Keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
I can't do it. I can't. I can't. I can't. But we get rewarded for that, right? And that's the other thing too, where I think some people don't realize you're gonna keep giving, and at some point you will collapse. You will collapse, and that effort of keep
Mm-hmm.
giving and giving and giving. And I think a lot of us think it's the best way to receive. Is the only way to receive.
That's what we've been taught.
Yeah. Right. And so if
Mm-hmm.
like what happened if I stop?
And how has that worked out for you thus far?
Right. But you don't know you're afraid,
Ooh,
right?
the
It's
rest of
that
the world
fear.
gets mad. They get mad when you stop.
That it's that, but you have that feel like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Because they're gonna stop get, and I don't think some people want to find out. But also, if you truly believe that it is a twin, or that is the loving sister of self-love, then you know you'll be
Mm-hmm.
fine because you have nurtured yourself enough to know you'll be okay. That you're not
Yes.
dependent on their love for you to be well, right? Like a lot of time it's like you're literally on survival mode because you're like, what if they do this? And then also the idea that their love for you is conditional. So you're always going to have to be performing, delivering, giving, and giving, because once you stop, you're not going to get that anymore, right? So is that
Yeah.
what you want, to constantly be on that wheel? Because you can't afford to stop now because they're not going to give you anymore.
But
And I
are
think,
they giving you the love that you need right now? Right?
mm,
Um, and I can say these things because I was that person. I was a person who believed that, oh no, we're here to take care of the world and to be selfless.
in
Like
every
it was a
space, right?
badge of honor for me,
It
right?
is.
Just be selfless. Don't even, but over time I came to realize that the more selfless I was, the more selfish in societal terms, the more selfish people became. And I'm
Mm,
talking about egotistically. People don't give a shit. Sometimes they just don't. They just take and take and take and take.
yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's okay. This is my nature.
This is
I'm
who I
just gonna
am.
give
This
and
is who you
give
are,
and
right?
give. And it makes you crazy, right?
Hmm.
Because you're giving so much, you're doing so much that it initially it starts as giving of yourself, right? And
Yeah.
I'm giving in love,
You're
and I'm
so
doing all
nice,
these things.
Tracy. Oh my God, you
It's the
always giving.
beautiful. Oh, she's always so. And then you start doing it so much that it kind of it starts eating at you, and you're like, oh my God, you're right. It's like being on that hamster wheel, and
Hmm.
now I'm giving up myself. Oh, I'm just giving up,
Even when
giving,
you
giving,
don't
giving
have it,
up,
by the way, even when you
and I
don't have
don't
it.
have it to give. hmm Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it keeps going. Hey, Joyce. Joyce is
yes.
here.
Hey, Auntie Joyce.
Good morning. So I think a lot of people I think a lot of people we do that. Like, and we've done it since we were little. It's not a new thing as we become adults,
Yeah.
because we learn
Hmm.
that in every space that we in, and we really think that's what's gonna allow us to be loved and to be
Yes.
lovable and for us to be rewarded. And we see other people get rewarded, but it's only us, by the way. I mean, I think I would say both women, men, and especially when you see children learn that at such an early age, when they become the little, the little helpers, and then they continue
And
to be
caretakers, they
helpers and
become.
helpers and helpers, and it's a great thing. It's just there's a thin line sometimes
There
where,
has to be a balance.
right? And so they continue that in their adult life. And then those are the people who also become people pleasers, right? And there
Hmm.
is no ending to that, where you just like, I gotta please that person, I gotta do it. And then even when you're like, oh my God, I can't anymore, and others, like Max says, others come to expect it,
They
right?
do.
You are doing it out of the
And then
kindness of
say
your heart.
no. Say no and see what happens. Ooh, like it's like their world is shattered
How dare
because you
you?
you told them no.
How dare you, Max? How dare you?
How dare
Because
you?
I mean, they're
It's
so
a
used
trip.
to your yeses. A lot of time you're not even asked, by the way, because they know it's a yes. You
There's
don't
an
get the
assumption.
courtesy of
Yes.
being asked the question about your time,
Mhm.
about do you even want to, right? They just assume you always gonna be available, you always gonna say yes. You make room, Tracy. You figure it out. You find room to do it.
Right.
You make
You
time.
got a lot. Just do this one. Just that's the thing. Oh my God, I hate when people call me that. Could you just? Could you just? It's just this. It's just this. Do you know how many could you just I have had
I
in my
don't
life?
mean
I
to,
mean,
Tracy.
and
Tracy,
on my
Tracy.
table at any
I
given
don't mean
time.
to add one more thing to your plate, though, Trace. I don't mean to.
Right. I don't mean
I don't
to,
mean to,
but
Tracy.
I'm going to. Oh
I don't
my
mean to. I know you're busy, Tracy, but I know you have a
God.
lot going on, Tracy.
But.
Can you though? Can you just squeeze that in? That's the last time. It's the last time, I promise. Last one. And
That's
then I'll leave you
just
alone.
this.
Okay?
Just this once.
Just
I know. Could you just please? Just this piece.
and you're the only one, I don't who else am I gonna go, Tracy? You do it the best.
Right.
I can rely on you,
Right.
Tracy. All the stuff, and then you now like, okay, how am I gonna say no to this?
And, right. And that's what I said. It's a badge of honor. Oh, everybody comes to me for everything. And it's just such a wonderful thing.
It
And
is
then you're like, wait,
wonderful.
there's something off about this picture.
Hmm.
There's something off about it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mhm.
But you
Yeah.
fall into that trap so quickly that you don't realize it if you don't step back and take a look and say, is this me? Or do I want to
Hmm.
continue to give this way? Right? Because
Yes.
it is good to be a giver if it's part of who you are, but we are not an infinite well. And at some point, it's going to take a toll on your whole being. And so for you
Yes.
to be
Yes.
exhausted and think it's okay to continue while you literally, I don't know, completely out of it and you don't have anymore. Like I use, you heard me use the cell phone analogy all the time. Like we don't, if your phone is at 10%, I know some people do try it. Do you really
Hmm.
keep at it and be like, you know what, I'm going to stay on the phone for that's not possible. Are you
Right.
really going to
Right.
keep at it and be like, no, I'm going to
But
get on
you
that
do, and
Zoom?
then you forget that it's at 10%. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep going. Then it's
And the
at
phone is going
five.
to
Then
tell
it's
you
at
what it's
two.
going to do. The phone will tell
Right,
you what's going to
right. And
happen.
then you still pushing and pushing and pushing, and then you're
Yep.
like, what happened? Oh, it's dead. Yes,
Bye.
you
I'm
killed it.
out.
You killed.
I'm out.
But you're right, and so that's what I'm saying when I say giving of yourself versus giving up yourself. Giving of yourself is great when you have it to give. We
Hmm.
often talk about our cup and filling our cup first, and then allowing the overflow from the cup to be what you give. Right. So that means taking care of you first, putting you first. It took me a long time to learn this lesson, to actually just put me first. And actually, it really didn't happen until after I got divorced, because then I was, I'm like, I was in school. I had all these different things going on. But prior to that, it was everybody else's stuff was more important than mine. Right. So I'm actually grateful for even undergrad, those few years, you look back and you think, okay, well, what happened leading up to that moment? But those few years beforehand, when I decided that I was going to school to become a nurse in the first place, I started putting my own needs first, just in that area.
Mm.
Right. But other people got offended by that.
Mm.
Right. And just saying all kind of crazy things.
All kinds. You're like, all
All
kinds.
kinds.
How dare
All
you,
kinds.
Tracy?
How dare you go to school?
Audacity.
How dare you? You got the audacity to go get an education, to do something for yourself. What about me?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to
Right.
do?
What
I mean,
am
people say
I
those things out
supposed to
loud, by
do?
the way.
What am I supposed to do? Say it again. What am I supposed to do
That's
with
my
that?
problem all of a sudden. But it's good to think about when those things are happening, and they start early. Like I had someone ask, and I think that's when it's good when people ask you, especially the work we do, because sometimes I'm always thinking like it must have happened later. Like we thinking, maybe like in our 30s, 40s, or even a little early, but it starts, we miss the cues when things start happening. Like for me, I think being the oldest, I feel like I'm always taking care of someone.
Yes.
Are you the oldest?
You were expected. I am the oldest. You're expected to take care of.
So there's always somebody that
siblings.
I'm taking care of. I'm always like, there's something. Oh, you better watch this, watch that. I'm going here, watch this, and I'm just like, so when do I get to do my stuff, right? As if, so even as a child, I'm like, okay, so I don't get to do this. So I'm watching like 3 other things or 3 other kids, and there's a cousin, there's this person, then somebody's gonna come over and drop something. Then I have to go and
She'll
drop
be
something.
all right.
Yep. And then gradually it's like,
right.
eventually I do like knowing that I'm dependable and reliable, and that people can come to me for help, right? At the same time, I realize I can't depend on me for me. I can do the stuff I want to do. I look back and I'm like, even now, there's so much I have not, that list, we call that list now. I have not done anything. But the stuff that I've managed to do for other people, it's unbelievable. And yet, I'm barely at number 2 on that list in terms of what needs to happen. And so, is it in there? It's in the book?
No, go ahead. Keep talking. I'm just going to put something out
those
there.
are the things. All. And then it happens with the jobs. And that's what people would tell me. Like I have people coming from like even with previous jobs, people coming to me from other departments because they're looking for answers for people to get things done. And where they go, nobody knows. People cannot fix things. So who finding me? I don't work over here. But they're like, I know you know someone. Oh, I know you can fix it. You can fix it, okay? So I'm going to come to you every time, which I love that I can be that person, but it's like I have other things to do. And then the thing that's sad sometimes too is when I'm not looking for like a little respite or somebody to do something, I cannot even find someone to just be able to say, oh, pick up something at the printer, or can you pick up something on the way here? Like it seems like and then I don't ask. That's the other thing that becomes really weird, where I'm like, I'm not going to ask. I don't feel like I don't have a go-to.
You're not alone.
I don't have a go-to.
I bet there are people in the chat too. It's like
I have a go-to.
Or you feel like you can't. That's what I'm going to say. You feel like you can't ask because they're not going to follow through anyway. I might as well just do it myself. So then you end up doing that yourself. You're doing all these other things yourself. Wait a minute. Somebody said something.
I'm not the
No, you are not the superwoman, Marie.
I've been told that I am.
Please,
I've been told that I am. I've been told that I am Wonder Woman.
Right.
Truly.
Girl,
my son was watching Wonder Woman. He's like, "That's you, mommy." I'm like, "No, I am not Wonder Woman."
Wait, I gotta go back in the chat for a second. Val, what the heck are you talking? She said, "Fill my cup full of vodka with the people pleasing. Can drive some to drink." Like, what are we saying?
Well, she is the people pleaser.
Being a people pleaser, it'll make you crazy. It will.
I'm not Wonder Woman.
You crazy.
I can be sometimes. I can be, but I can't be Wonder Woman all the time. I can't be
Yeah.
her all the time.
But be her when you choose to be her, but
Right,
stop being her for other people. That's my
right,
whole point. That's the
right,
whole thing.
right.
Do for you first, and then and sometimes take the damn cape off and sit your ass down. Take care of you, please, please. But I wanted to read nowism, so next week we're gonna jump into the nowisms, and we'll talk about what nowisms are. But they really are kind of like they're our truths in the moment.
No.
We can't always identify with affirmations.
Hmm.
I am the goddess of the universe, whatever your affirmation is, whatever.
I
Right? So we
am.
can't always like reach for those, but you can reach for some true thoughts. And number 21, as we were talking,
That's what I am
came
right now.
up, and that is keeping my promises to myself matter more than anything
Yes,
else.
love it.
You keep your promises to any and everybody else, people that
Hmm.
don't deserve.
Woo!
You keep
That's
your
the one.
promises to their asses. Keep
That's the
your
one.
promises to yourself.
Yes.
Please do. Please do. Yes. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes,
Thank you,
yes.
Goddess Val. Thank you. Thank you.
It's and the thing is, I
Just
think
a great point. Mhm.
those principles, those methods that we do as part of our coaching, as part of what we teaching
Yeah.
through coaching, through writing, through so
Mm-hmm.
many different
Mm-hmm.
things, and those lived experiences that we talked about from when we were little girls to going to school to the jobs, these are the things that have influenced what we are providing now in terms of our programs. Like I didn't realize it until people started asking certain things. And recently somebody said, I am showing women, like literally showing, not is like not even helping, you are showing them how to prioritize themselves first, because we've
Yes.
done it. Now we're not doing it perfectly, because as you hear, there are days where things are not done on the list because we're still putting other people in terms of, because we care. At the end of the day, we
Yeah.
care. So we'll say, you know what, we will
Mm-hmm.
get to us. But the majority of the time, there's some things that I'm doing where I'm like, nope, not today. On purpose, by the way. There are things that
Right.
are less and less on my plate where I'm like, I have the ability to say no. I have the ability to not care and be okay with your feelings being hurt.
Right. And
Ooh,
be okay saying no. When you first start telling
right.
people no, it's gonna feel some kind of way.
Particularly when you're a people pleaser, right? Because you're like, again, you're
Right.
more concerned about how they're going to feel and think about you than yourself. So be okay with their response and their feelings,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, just prepare for it. Prepare for it.
And move
I know
on.
you're not used to this. I know you're not used to this, but I have to, I just have to back up right now.
It's
I'm saying
okay.
no.
You'll
I'm
be
saying
good.
no.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Right.
You'll be all right.
Um, Joyce said the way you start a relationship is the way
Ooh.
people think it's going to always be. Right. So if can you be you from the beginning and just
Oh,
not, you're right. Because when you step into a relationship, man,
oh boy.
that's that. And that's all kinds of relationships. That's we're talking about on your jobs, like, we've said before, like you step in and you doing all of these things, and they're like, oh, they
It's
expect you
expected.
to continue to do it that way. So yeah.
It's expected.
That's it. Preach.
It's expected. But be mindful of that. Be
Yeah.
mindful of that, and be aware of the habits that you have, the way you are. And this is why a lot of time we talk about, I mean, I tend to really talk about that in terms of who you are. Like, what are your
Mhm.
values? What do you want? And in that process, how you want to be treated. But also
Yeah.
knowing you get to create the experiences you want to have wherever you at. So whether it's your
Mhm.
personal life, your professional life, within your community, within all the circles that you in, you get to create it, which means you get to show people how you want to be treated, which means that promise we talked about, don't back up. If you say no, don't change your mind and go and do it
You're
because you feel
right.
guilty. And sit
Well,
with
all
that
right.
feeling, right? Sit with that feeling, because it's different, because you're not used to saying no. So be uncomfortable, stay in that discomfort of saying no,
Hmm.
and don't do it. It's gonna get easier, I guarantee you, because I'm doing it more and more, and it's okay. I survive every time. It gets better.
Right.
It gets better.
And it does get easier to say, nah, I'm
It
good.
gets Yeah,
I get it.
and it is, and you're okay again. And then there are times when you're like, you don't have time for that. You don't have time.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and Val said, I'm learning as I get older, it becomes more important to honor my wants and needs first.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Your needs are more important
And to
and should
practice
be
it.
more important. That right, right. And you can't feel guilty about that. That's something we've got to learn to let
Yeah.
go.
But you
Now,
will,
and
girl.
now, mind you, wait, let me just say this too. I am not talking about, someone in your life and they have immediate life saving slash life threatening things
Hmm.
going on. I get it. I get it. I'm not saying don't take care of them. I'm saying find a way to take care of you. And I will tell you the things that I have seen happen when the caregiver is so into taking care of the other person, the caregiver ends up dying first. Right? It's sad. It's sad to
Mm.
see. And you're just like, oh my gosh. But they've never stopped to just
Right.
back up to take care of themselves.
Hmm.
And so they gave up themselves so much to the point where
Hmm.
it was to their own detriment.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So please just take care of you. Take care of you. And that was a hard thing to learn. And I don't always do it. I'm not perfect at
Hmm.
it. I'm,
Yeah.
I don't claim to be perfect at it. A lot of things.
Yeah.
But, that doesn't mean that I'm not still working towards that space, because we all should be working towards our optimal self.
Hmm. But that's part of the work. I think part of our work, we tend to work with those, the creatives, the healers,
Mhm.
the
Yes.
caregivers, the caretakers, the ones who literally, they always caring, which is why I think a lot of people, when you're hearing this conversation, truly listen to what we're saying in terms of the idea of selfishness is not just saying no to everything and not caring. At the core
Right.
of what we're talking about are people who care more. They start
Yes.
with care,
Mhm.
which means what they know is giving first. These are the people we're talking to right now. They give first, and that's their default. That's their reflex. They don't know
Yeah.
anything else. Those are the people we want them to make a shift and reset, for them to learn
Mhm.
how to be selfish, as a literally is a preventative measure right now, for them to
Absolutely.
save
Absolutely.
themselves,
Mhm.
another to continue, another to fuel and recharge and stay alive. Okay.
I'm
I know why you're
I'm just
laughing.
laughing because I hear you in my head. My save yourself.
Save
Save
yourself.
yourself.
Save yourself. That's the warning.
Marie always telling me that. Save yourself, girl. Get up
Yep.
out of here. Go do something. Save yourself. Save yourself.
Yep.
Yes, but I do. I think that is a great point. The other thing that I want to say is remove societal's definition of what selfish is
Mm.
and replace it. You borrow mine, but replace it with your own. What is your definition of being selfish? Right? You can borrow mine though if you need, but please borrow mine because yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and then add a little
We
something.
deserve that. We deserve that. We deserve to care for self first. And you know what I realized after the whole divorce thing? I realized that the more I took care of myself, the more I was able to do other things. The better I was at, all of these things and juggling all of the things that I still continue to do. Right. And then later on, the more I realized I'm still doing too much. I'm still taking care of other people's needs over mine.
Hmm.
Let me adjust it again. Right. And then it's like, okay, I'm doing great at this moment. And then, I'm just saying it's an ongoing process
Yes, it
because
is.
in here, innately, I want to nurture people. Innately, I want to give and take care of everyone else. But I know now that I have to stop to take care
Hmm.
of self. It
You know
don't work
better.
any other. Mm-hmm.
You know better.
Yeah,
And so I'm
yeah,
hoping you take one thing. We're not saying do everything we're talking about. And as always, we always say this is a journey, it's a whole process. We're saying do one thing, right? It might be say no. It might be do that one thing you wanted to do for yourself. Or it might just be really take time to reflect on how you being in these spaces and say, how do I define selfishness? Or how have I been selflessness, right? So think
Yeah,
about and take time to really think about them and be mindful. And I think those three things, because I know sometimes we cover a lot, we share a lot, and it seems like
we
we're
do.
already at the end of it, and so we good, we perfect. But
Right.
you take the time and hear the conversation and process it at your own way and say, okay, how am I going to start practicing this my way? Starting
Exactly.
today. We don't have to wait until like I'm this age or next week or when I have time. Make time. Make time.
Yeah. 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 And I'm just gonna throw this out there. We gotta plug it in. So we have created there are journals out there that are available to you to use. Their journals, their jam sessions, um, that are out there to help you just kind of navigate the waters, and a lot of the things that we talk about, they're in those journals, so you can actually start writing and thinking about like what is it, what is this thing that whatever we're talking about today, selfishness, what does selfishness mean to me, and just actually start doing some of the work. And those are guided journals, by the way. The jam sessions, those are also guided, just ways to different avenues to help you kind of navigate the waters if you're really looking into moving forward and just doing some things differently in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
deserve that. You deserve that.
Yes.
We do everything else. We do all the outside stuff. We buy all the makeup, all the hair stuff, all the jewelry. We do that. But we need to start working on some of this inside stuff. And a lot of us are carrying around a lot of unnecessary baggage, in part because we've been selfless and taken on
Mm-hmm.
everybody else's stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Give them their stuff back. Release those things and just really start to take care of you. All
And
right.
you can start again.
We can start again. We can work it out. Hey,
Start
there's a song
anew.
for you.
Start anew. So
Ah,
I think that's it for today. You have a lot of
I think
nuggets.
that is it.
A lot of good
Right?
nuggets.
Lots to chew on, right? Lots to chew on.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you all for joining us today. Hey, we are heading over to the club.
The
So feel
glue.
free to come on over to the club. That's Clubhouse, y'all. We continue Me Moments in the Morning over there. We share our gratitude, intention, affirmation of the day, continue a little bit of this conversation, whatever you like. Just come on over. We'll be over there in just a few minutes here. And with that, we are complete this morning. Thank you for joining us. Sending you all much love. Mwah. Till tomorrow. Bye.